Greetings YouTube, this is Love with Fit to Love Me, and I'm coming to you with a different kind of video today. I know that so far almost all of my videos, if not all of my videos, have been weight loss related. But I established this channel not only as to chronicle my weight loss, but also to chronicle my journey through this life. I'm fit to love me means that I'm looking to get fit, mind, body, and soul. So that I can love myself more, love my life more, and live the life of my dreams. This video is about relationships, and it's actually in response to a video that I saw posted today, that I watched today, by the Eformation queen, Carolyn Gray. The title of her video is Finding Mr. Right. Get ready. So I just want to talk about this because Carolyn's purpose in this video is about helping women find their Mr. Right. I'm recently married. I've been married for about a year, and I'm married to my Mr. Right. I got married at 40 years old to my Mr. Right. So I just want to talk a little bit about that because I know that I definitely could have used a lot. I could have used mentorship. I could have used a Carolyn Gray in my life when I was in my 20s, 30s to help guide me and direct me on the right path. A group that's led by married couples or married women, teaching and telling unmarried women how to have a successful marriage and have a successful life as a wife and a woman who wants to be a wife. So I found that missing in my life. So I felt like as soon as I really got the formula, I wanted to be able to help others the way that I was not helped. And I see that Carolyn is doing that, and I want to chime in on what she's saying and say, I agree with what you're saying, you said in this video wholeheartedly. And I just want to talk along with your points to talk about how my story went along with your points very closely. I'll just jump into the points. Her first point is that you will meet him randomly when you least expect it. I've said for so many years, first of all, I just want to say that I was married before, and I was married to Mr. Wrong, for sure. And I knew that not far long into the marriage. I just wanted to be married. I knew that probably before I got married, but I just wanted to be married. And towards the middle and the end of our marriage, I used to say that my real husband is going to be like this, and my real husband's going to be like that. And it's so funny because he left me a voicemail just the other day, and he said, how are you and your real husband? Because, it was just the thing. He's remarried now too. So, but it was just the thing that it was like, I felt like even the things that I was learning in that marriage, I was learning to be ready, as this video is talking about, for my real husband. So she says that you will meet your husband randomly when you least expect it. So once I was single, and I was single for many years, I think about 4 years, at least 4 years after I got divorced. 4 years I was single. And I never have done this. I never hit the clubs or the bars or anything like that, because it's so funny. I would always say that it's so funny that in life you can plan everything else in life. You can plan your degrees, you can plan your trips, you can plan, where you're gonna live. You can plan your finances, organize, plan, have a strategy, make these things happen. But you cannot plan when you're gonna find the right one. When you and the right person are going to cross paths and meet each other and make it happen. You cannot plan that. But I feel like that's definitely one thing that we know for sure within the universe, that you cannot strategize, you cannot plan. That's just my way of looking at it. So I decided just to live my life, and that's the next point that she says. She says just accomplish the goals that you have and do the things that you want to do, basically in the meantime. I felt like I had no choice other than to do that, so that's what I did. I started pursuing my doctorate degree, and I started doing things I wanted to do, traveling and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I would have girlfriends who were also looking for their Mr. Right, who would feel like, oh, I don't want to travel by myself. I want to travel with a man. I don't want to do that. They would travel and stuff like that, but it was like begrudgingly. They couldn't really they literally could not have a great time on trips or or girls' night out because I would rather be with a man. I just threw myself wholeheartedly into whatever I was doing because there's nothing I can do about it. Either it was gonna happen or it's not, or it's gonna happen in perfect time and order. Her next point is at 19, she decided she wasn't dating anyone who wasn't marriage material. That's exactly what I did at age, however old I was when I got divorced, probably 34 or so. I decided that that's it, that I'm not going to settle for less at all. That I don't care if I started, sometimes when you start like dating someone and you start spending time with them, especially when you were alone before and hadn't had that interaction, you start talking to them on the phone a lot or going out with them a lot, it's hard to break it off because now you've created a bond or a habit. You have the habit of talking to them and it feels good, you like that. But I decided that if I don't care anywhere along the way, if I found out that this is not Mr. Right for me, then I'm just gonna break it off. And I did that a couple of times while I was, dating, while I was looking, and I didn't date very often at all. So it was like those times are pretty much few and far between. But I made sure I just cut it off because I did not have any time to waste because I was looking for Mr. Right, and that's it. So Carolyn asked said that might be a little bit OCD, the fact that she was just like, that's it, I'm looking for my husband, I'm not looking for anyone else. But I don't think it was OCD. I think it was right on the money. She said that she, from watching television and things like that, or even the romances, she realized that some people consider college to be the place where you meet your husband. And that she said that she went there going to get her MRS degree, which I think is really cute. I wish my mother had told me that. My mother definitely she was raised in the 70s. It was a different generation where you're not out there looking for your husband. However, you're not supposed to be, you're living your life. You're not expecting to have a man, that you have to have a man. I get that. That's wonderful. However, that little advice that a lot of times people get married and stay married throughout their lives when they meet in college would have been great advice. Just some good advice, because I definitely let some great guys go when I was in college. Now, that being said, I don't think I was ready. She said that maybe, a lot of people don't feel like 19 when she got married is old enough, and it varies by person, but I don't think I was ready. I definitely know that had I gotten together with my husband when I was 19, we would not be together today, because I was too spoiled, I was too hot-headed, I just wasn't honed and ready for him yet. She said, get ready. So I spent those years getting ready. Conversely, my husband wasn't ready for me either. How do I know this? Because we knew each other. We were friends. We met each other in freshman year of college, like I mentioned, and we were great friends. Now, I always respected him, and I always thought he would probably be great in relationships and whatnot. But over the years, he had different experiences that I don't know how. And he had different ways about himself that I don't think would have been the kind of thing that I would have liked in my life. However, he learned in his previous marriage and his previous relationship that he needed to change those things, the same way that I learned that I needed to change those things about myself. So we went off in life and figured it out, got a clue that we needed to grow up and make some changes, and we made those changes, and we got together, and it was the right, perfect time for us. So I also want to say that, like I said, I was 40 when I got married, right? I was 38 when I started dating my husband. 38. I just want to encourage you that no matter how old you are, my minister was just telling me that her daughter just fell in love, and she's 63. She just fell in love, and she said that her mother fell in love and got married when she was 63 years old. 63, fell in love with the love of her life, and they had 8 years together, 8 lovely years together. So at the end of their lives, they had found that love, and her daughter was experiencing the same thing at 63 years old. So I was almost 40 years old, and I always remember this woman told me this story. Just a random woman one day was telling the story at a workshop at work that oh oh my goodness, this happened to me. I just met I think she was like 36. I'm not really sure, but she said, I thought it wasn't going to happen to me. I thought I was too old. In her culture, she's Hispanic, that 36 is a spinster. She thought it wasn't going to happen to her. And she said, I have met the love of my life. I'm in love with him. We just got married. I'm having a beautiful life. And I want to tell anybody out here that it can happen to you. It's never too late. I was still in my 20s at that time, early 20s. I think I was married to the other guy at the time, but I always remember what she said. I held on to that with an open heart, believing heart, and it happened for me. So it can happen to you. So she says that look for a Mr. Right who will compliment my life, not complete my life. Another thing about finding someone who complements each other, we did a lot of work when it comes to compatibility. I mean, we did so many compatibility tests and quizzes and discussions and read books on relationships, and I mean, just really had lots of discussions, in-depth discussions, constant in-depth discussions for a whole year and a half before we got married, about how well we work together. So she says, make a list to God, and list your deal breakers. We definitely discussed our deal breakers during that time period, and we kind of, confronted some and said, okay, what are we going to do? This is something that's very serious to me, and each of us had to make our adjustments in different times, but we spoke about these things ahead of time. We worked them out ahead of time before we got married, which I think is very, very important. So she said, make a list to God, make a list of what it is that you're looking for before you meet this person. And I had definitely done that. I had a whole vision board on my wall, like literally on my wall, with images and words and stuff like that about all the different areas of my life. And one of the areas of my life was romantic, was romance and love and marriage. And it's so funny because I had multiple children up there, and I told you how old I was, and I only had one child. He has several children, but I had multiple children on that vision board. I had the list of what it is that I wanted. And it's so interesting that one thing that I had, and I made a video about this, but I haven't posted it yet. But I had this image of this man surprising this woman with a gift. Like, she's sitting on the couch and he's giving her a gift, and she's looking like, you know, he's giving me this gift. It was wrapped up in a bow. And it's so funny because I realized that, and I was like, there was something about the whole thing that looked so unfamiliar to me. Like, I'm not really sure if this is real. Because I realized that I never had someone who just showered me with gifts. And I made a video about this last week about how my husband bought me these clothes. And I'm like, why is he buying me this stuff? You know, why is he buying me clothes? Because I'm not used to it. So I definitely believe in vision boards. I told you about The Secret. The Secret talks about things like vision boards. So you just visualize what it is you want. When your feelings, your images, and your thoughts align with what it is that you want, then you're more likely to attract it to you. That's the essence of the law of attraction. So she says that make sure on your list you don't have superficial goals. Make sure that they are goals about character and how you want them, you know, how you really want this person to be. It's so interesting that for me, I have these girlfriends who would have these superficial goals, like literally very superficial, and I would just be like, you know, come up a little higher. Dare to ask for more than what you want. Ask for more. Ask for what it is that you really want, what your heart desires. Sometimes we don't want to ask the men that we're dating out on this dating scene for what it is that we want. But I say go for that too. Say what it is that you want. If you want to get married, say you want to get married. You know, girls and women, a lot of times they pretend that they want to just be friends because the guy says he wants to be friends, or that they don't want to scare the man off. I was like, look, I'm looking to get married, and that's what I'm looking for. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And which was wonderful, because that's exactly how I got my husband, because he was like, look, I'm looking to get married. I'm looking for a wife. That's what I want. And it was perfect. So just asking for what you want, speaking your heart, opening your heart and saying and declaring what it is that you want, and that's the way it'll come to you. If you declare other things that you don't want, and that stuff comes to you, what kind of life are you creating yourself? She says about don't listen to the media and society when they say that all men are dogs. And I have to say that, based on my previous relationships, I was really struggling in that area. And I still continue to struggle in that area. Not that I believe that all men are dogs, but because I've been hurt and I had these experiences and I've seen these things time and time again, it was really hard for me to open my heart. So what I spent those 4 years doing was opening myself to believe that it is possible for me to have what I want. I knew that I was closed off and afraid, or had an idea that maybe it wasn't possible, but I spent my time building my consciousness, building my mind to believe that it is possible. And how did I do that? I would look for beautiful, wonderful relationships. I would just look for love stories and hold on to them and just revel in them because I really wanted to believe. The next thing she said is don't limit what you pick. She's just talking specifically about ethnic groups. She tells a story about how one of her friends excluded people from of certain skin colors within her ethnic group. But I have to say that interestingly enough, I actually did do that. I did something similar to that because I dated people from other cultures many times before, and I'm definitely open to people, and I think it's great if people date people of other cultures. I just have done that before, and there was friction because of cultural differences. So I just asked this time, I said, let me have a Black American man from the South. Down home country boy, you know, who's like hardy, strong, you know what I mean, down to earth, you know, understands that sometimes a girl's gonna have a little meat on her bones or likes that or has a history with that. Maybe his mother's overweight or he has this woman that he liked before. I literally asked for somebody who likes somebody who's overweight. And guess what? My husband's first love has my profile. Like, she literally has my profile. So there you go. So ask for exactly what you want. So I did limit it myself, but that's because I knew that that's what I want. I felt like that would work for me. And so I guess that's a toss-up whether that's gonna work or not. It says, don't waste time fooling around with Mr. Wrong or Mr. Right now. So I definitely did the same. I definitely did that. Like I told you, that if there was somebody that I was dating that wasn't right, I just moved on. If there was someone who approached me that I knew that wasn't Mr. Right, wasn't my marriage material, I was just like, move on. So I know this is kind of abstract, but hopefully you're able to follow me. I had someone, interestingly enough, that this love from college, who I always just had up on this pedestal, that, one day someone said to me that spiritually, in terms of energetically, you have someone in that place. Remove him. You have to say goodbye to him and remove him from that place. Take him off the pedestal as his highest and the best person. Take him off the pedestal, like, energetically, so that someone can move in. But when I released that and said, okay, it's not him, it's not somebody, I just release him and I leave that space open for someone else to be in my mind the perfect guy. My current husband came in within a month of that, and the way he came in, how did he come? I didn't meet him in the club or whatever. He just called my phone like normal. Like, I hadn't spoken to him in a few years. He just rang my phone. Bring, bring, bring. That's how I met my Mr. Right. But anyway, so he exceeded all of my expectations. I didn't even know to ask for the things that the qualities that he has. For me, he might not be for everybody, which is fine. I don't want him to be for anybody else. But all the qualities that he has, I didn't even know to ask for. I had just been reading, just finished reading, or I just started reading when we started talking, Steve Harvey's book about relationships. I can't remember the name of it right now, but and he said that a man will protect, will profess his love, he'll protect, he will provide for his family. All these things that I read this book in this man, this was exactly this way. It was more than I knew to ask for, so I just thought it was wonderful. So definitely, Carolyn tells a story about how she broke up with this man who she found the one little thing wasn't right about him. Well, wasn't little, but one thing about him she saw like writing on the wall that it wasn't gonna be right about him. So she moved on, and the next weekend she went to a party by herself and met her husband. And she said, like, what if I had gone to the party with some other guy? What if I had Mr. Right Now, some other dude on my arm? I might not have you know, met my husband, and I totally agree with that. Just be free and open, because my, you know, even if I had been married on paper, my husband would have been open to it. If I had been dating someone else, he and I would not have approached each other that way, because we were so respectful of each other's relationships. So that's all I want to just say. I just want to say, Carolyn, I totally agree with everything you say. I say more power to you. I'm gonna definitely, you asked for feedback about people's success stories, so here's my feedback about my success story. I'm making it in video form. I'm also going to share your video like you asked, because I'm going to share it on my channel, and the link to Carolyn's video will be in the link below. So that's the E-formation queen, Carolyn Gray. Thank you so much for making this inspiring video and making all these videos that you do, and I look forward to watching more. Take care. Bye-bye.